Good morning, people of Earth. Welcome to the fucking news with me, Deek Jackson. The planet's fucked, it's your fault, and it's getting worse. I hope you're gonna have a great day, because today is as good as it's gonna get. Here on planet Earth, there are lots of different ways of life. There are lots of different countries, cultures, peoples, individuals. I'm different to you, you're different to me. And there are many ways of describing your beliefs, your philosophies, your politics. And one of these is called libertarianism. And I have often called myself a libertarian without really going to much length to explain to people what that means, other than to say I'm a big fan of free will. Mine, principally. I'm a big fan of me doing what I want and you leaving me the fuck alone. And in a nutshell, I believe that's what libertarianism is. I don't mind what you want to do, and you won't mind what I want to do, as long as it doesn't cause a murder and the only people involved are consenting adults. Now, as a political philosophy, libertarianism in America, and I'm not directing the following comments at either side, either the Democrats or the Republicans, because I believe there are libertarians on both sides who believe that they are libertarian. But you can't be a libertarian if you're not a fan of free will. The free will of other people to oppose you. I'm a big fan of free will. If you don't like what I'm doing, it's your right to tell me, to organize against me, to combat me, to oppose me. And it's my right to do that to you. Libertarianism is not some sort of pacifist, I'm going to live in the woods, leave me alone thing. Libertarianism is a philosophy which accepts the rights of everybody to do what they want, and for that to be what defines our group behavior. So, whoever wins the election in America, you're not a libertarian if you think the winners are cunts. You're really not. You're not a libertarian if you oppose their right to organize and do their will. You're not a libertarian if you are simply a nationalist and a flag-waving chump. You're not a libertarian if you wish to impose regulation and rules upon people because you think it's the best thing for them and you know best. In short, you're not a libertarian if you just want to do stuff to me because you like it. To be a libertarian, you have to accept that the rights of people to oppose each other are part of that, and that opposition and conflict are an inevitable consequence of libertarianism. It's not a utopian ideology or philosophy where everybody's going to sit around holding hands and sing Kumbaya. Libertarianism, like chaos and anarchy, is it's written in the stars, man. If everybody is going to do their free will, there's gonna be trouble. Because everybody's wills are not commensurate or the same. So, just saying, as the election hangs in a balance and some rich old white man is going to end up your president in America for 4 years, and I don't give a fuck. And I'm a big fan of free will. And if you voted for them and elected for them, good luck to you. I hope you get what you want for Christmas. But don't pretend that you're right just because you win. Anyway, on the same vein and in keeping with the it's not independence in Scotland. Here in Scotland, look out the window. That's Scotland right there. That's green, verdant, lovely, somewhat a bit chilly today, Scotland, right out my window. And I'm surrounded by people who live in Scotland. And the latest polls show that the people of Scotland, 54% of them would vote yes for independence in an independence referendum now. That's a reversal of the previous result where people voted 54% no for independence, missing an opportunity for a lot of fun if you ask me. However, the current SNP and Government of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, the cranky wee cunt, her version of independence is to take us back into Europe, where unelected commissioners make laws that we have to live under. That's not independence. It's not. By no stretch of the imagination would Scotland be an independent country if it was part of Europe. We would be far from independent. We would be dependent. We would be a vassal state. And if there's any Scottish people listening, I urge you, do not follow this cranky wee cunt down the road to non-independence in Europe. If anything, I feel there is a need for a truly independent Scottish political movement. I'm in favour of an independent autonomous zone at my house, and you can take your independence to your house with you as well. So independence for Scotland, not in Europe at all. Likewise, here's another. It's not if. Electric trains back on track to push cuts in emissions. More rail lines are to be electrified in a green transport upgrade. Wait a minute, hold on there. A green transport upgrade? Is all the power in Britain green? Oh no, it isn't. The majority of it is natural gas and fossil fuels, which means these electric trains are not fucking green. You're not a green train if you're running on nuclear-powered natural gas, even if you're an electric train. And this kind of moronic fucking back-slapping, I'm green, I bought a hybrid, environmentalism makes me vomit. It really does. There's no such thing as green energy or a green train. I got on my green train. I went to my green job where I sell the rainforest to orphan children in India, and they chop it up into matchsticks and sell it to me to set fire to my fucking environment. Really. What a load of pish. Man, this paper is full of the election. You'd think we were America. Honestly, you'd think Britain was in America. There's so much news about America. I'm keeping the American flag up for two reasons, by the way. Irony, and also I'm lazy. I zip-tied it on. I did. I zip-tied it on. So to get it off, I'm going to have to get my snips out. So there's more it's not if in here. There really is. Here we go. The luxury car maker Bentley Motors, the world's largest manufacturer of super-powered 12-cylinder engines, is to go fully electric. Wow. Their best-selling cars typically cost £150,000. Chief Executive Adrian Hallmark said, "We need to change. And we need to change everything." Who says? And why? Well, I'll tell you. Because the Western powers, and that includes America, although currently you might like to believe otherwise, Western powers have decided that the sale of fossil fuels is going to be scrapped. There'll be no fossil fuels on sale quite soon, a decade, two. The sale of fossil-powered vehicles will end in Europe in 10 years. You won't be able to buy any vehicle that runs on diesel or petrol in Europe in 10 years. And that would include a Bentley. And so the chief executive, Adrian Hallmark, is correct. He does have to change. He doesn't have to change because the market has changed. Do you think Saudi Arabian princes are keep phoning up fucking Bentley? Hey, you know, where is your electric powered? I'm tired of the 12-cylinder super-powered 8-liter supercar. I want something that runs on a Duracell. No, that's not happening. No Saudi Arabian princes are crying out for that. Footballers in Essex are not emailing Bentley to say, "Yo man, really liked your last car, but you know, couldn't we have an electric one because I'm feeling really green right now?" No, this is legislation driving innovation. You could call it innovation if you like. But it's top-down legislation because the powers that be, it's been a while since I rehearsed this story for you, but the planet is fucked. The people who own and control everything of value on this rock spinning in space, they know very well it's fucked. And they have plans for you, for us, for the planet. And the number one plan they have is for them to survive. That's their number one plan, for them to survive. Not you. Their plan is not for you to survive. It's for them to survive. And in order for that to happen, a couple of things. First of all, we've got to stop putting greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. And then a lot of you have got to go away. That could happen at the same time, but both of those things have to happen. Just so you know, they're going to kill us by intention, omission, or ineptness. That is to say that they will do something to kill us. They will do something that they should have done so that we die, or they will just be inept and we will die in large numbers anyway. Moving on, the coronavirus. A piece of news from Belgium, which has one of the worst deaths per million of population and cases per million in Europe. Belgium faces curbs until there's a vaccine. Strict measures to tackle coronavirus will remain in force until a vaccine is available to the general public, the Prime Minister of Belgium has said. That's the writing on the wall for every European nation. In essence, what the government of Belgium are saying is, we're going to keep imposing draconian, fascist, communist, totalitarian rule upon you until you submit to having an injection of goo. Available to the general public means given to the general public, means foisted on. I would stop short at the moment of saying force, but coercion, blackmail, leverage, forms of persuasion which are ugly, are definitely coming to a civilization near you. It's not freedom if I have to do what you say. And it's not a pandemic if the bodies aren't piling up in the street. The population of Earth goes up by 230 to 250,000 people every day. Let me know when I have to breed with my sister. This is a scamdemic. Cost of life insurance is not going up. Life insurance companies are not charging you more money to insure your life because there is no more risk of you dying now than there was last year. Obsessive state secrecy is destroying trust. More coronavirus news. Okay. First of all, the Bank of England just printed £150 billion yesterday. Normally this would be big news, but, set against the fucking avalanche of lies and disinformation pouring out of every journalistic orifice on Earth. It barely gets a mention. Let's go over those figures again because they may seem quite baffling at first. The people of Britain just went another £150 billion into debt. That's right. When the bank prints the money, you owe them it back. Wait a minute. That doesn't sound right. No, but it is. When they print £150 billion, the people of Britain owe them the money. That's right. We now owe them the money. And we'll be paying it back for decades. Plus interest, by the way. But the reason I mention that is because this journalist points out that they had to tell people that they'd done that, and they also had to tell people why they did it, and their reasoning and their rationale was scrutinized by the markets, and the markets believed it, and there was no perceptible change in market behavior. The currencies and stocks and shares did not react badly to this news because the rationale, the reasoning and the evidence given by the bank for the printing of that money, the markets felt was sound, rational and based in, if you like, based upon economic necessity of some kind. Okay, with me so far. This contrasts starkly contrasts with the British government's claim to have a second lockdown. For those of you outside Britain, we've been locked up again, at least in England, which is 90% of the population. An entire month of imprisonment by the government. All the shops closed, you must stay at home, no visiting anybody, not even in your garden, only leaving the home to walk the dog and jog in the park. It couldn't be more fascist and tyrannical, I swear, unless they just came round to the house, made you kneel on the ground and shot you in the back of the fucking head. So, the justification for this lockdown. Okay. A group of experts conducting policy the Prime Minister announced the decision to impose a lockdown, and he did so because the virus is spreading faster than the worst case scenario identified by scientific advisors. But neither Downing Street nor the scientific advisors published the data or the scenario. In fact, even the scientific advisors on social media aren't even clear themselves about what the worst case scenario is, and the BBC had to print a retraction or an apology or if you like, an admission that the government's published graphs and graphics and data used in the presentation to justify the lockdown were out of date, inaccurate, and based upon old models, not even current ones. Much of that data was based upon a now discredited and out-of-date chart showing 50,000 daily cases by mid-October, whereas in fact daily cases have never got anywhere near that. Nowhere near that. And what's equally bizarre is that the projected cases won't... Others leaked a copy of the scenario, right? The worst case scenario doesn't even show a bad rise in cases. So, whatever you might think about the coronavirus in general, to have your government announce a nationwide lockdown, the limiting and restriction of your freedom, while they're standing in front of known, published, reported, false, discredited, out-of-date information, and then refuse to actually publish the scientific advice or data that they were claiming to have based it on, surely this is cause for concern. It's not democracy and freedom if you can be locked up for any old fucking say-so, is it? Meanwhile, the populist legacy of Trump. I like this piece because there's a lot of misconceptions, I think, about the mindset of Americans. And I may be guilty of that as well, not being an American. So I do like to know as much as possible about the detail of American life and what's actually happening on the ground. This is a good point. A lot of people think that Trump is a racist and that Trump supporters are racist and that all they want is, some kind of narrowly defined redneck, southern flag, fucking 1950s style white redneck America. Nothing could be further from the truth. That's not Trump supporters. And in fact, here we have, During the election, a lot of other things were voted on. One of them was Proposition 16, which was in California, the Golden State. It's a plebiscite democracy. And every 2 years, voters vote on certain laws and regulations to govern them. Proposition 16 would have repealed a constitution provision making it unlawful for governments to discriminate on the basis of race. This was basically an attempt to reintroduce affirmative action for minorities. Affirmative action is where businesses are compelled to hire black, minority and ethnic people first in order to produce a more woke and equal demographic of employment. After being told for months that America is irredeemably racist, and Trump supporters, by the way, and it needs to atone for its white privilege, voters in the nation's most democratic state, California, many of them Hispanic, Asian, and black, decided that awarding opportunity purely on the basis of race was inconsistent with the ideals of American democracy, and they voted it down. No affirmative action in California, the biggest democratic state in America. Go figure. It's almost like Americans can't easily be pigeonholed or labeled or decried as being part of some factional tribe by some lazy journalists. It's not a crime to use drugs. Heroin use in Oregon no worse than a road offense. Oregon became the first US state to decriminalize possession of hard drugs, including cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine in small quantities. Wow! More evidence of a sane, rational, functioning democracy in America at a local level. Punishing people for drug use and addiction is costly and hasn't worked, said an Oregon nurse. Oregonians became the first state in favor of legalizing psychedelic mushrooms for therapeutic use. Man, I should move to Oregon. You guys in Oregon, you have got it going on. Alright, well, I think that is about the end of the news in this paper. It's not a bad day. I'm going to go busking. I hope you have a wonderful day. Today is as good as it gets. Enjoy yourself wherever you are, and extend to people. If you're a libertarian, extend to everybody else the right to be different to you and to oppose you if they want, because that is truly what being a fan of free will is. I'm a big fan of free will. Whatever you want to do is good for you. It may not be good for me. It doesn't have to be good for me. That's the thing about being a fan of free will. It's not just like sugar and donuts and what I like. It's about everybody doing what they want, no matter what. Have a great day. I'll see you later.